Hello and welcome to another Wednesday live stream patron chat. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you're having a great Wednesday. Happy hobbying to all of you out there. If you found this on the Facebook, don't forget you can post a photo of whatever miniature you are working on in there, and I'll be sharing it at the end of the show. As always, I've got my wonderful painter Flo over there. What are you working on, Flo?
I am back to working on Tomb World stuff. I'm working on all of the Necrons right now.
So she'll be painting Necrons. And then my moderator / other person, disembodied voice,
Well, hello there.
Working on stuff. And tonight we got an amazing, fun, special guest, a good friend of mine, Mr. Dana McDonald. He's running a Kickstarter right now for his, what are they, Forsaken
Sentinels.
Forsaken Sentinels. So he's a 3D modeler. A reasonably talented, a really good 3D modeler who has you've done the Stone Trove before, which are the rock cliff face formations that were modular, and now you've
also really good.
Yes, and also this super cool like gothic now new stuff that's coming out. So Dana, thank you so much for joining. I'll let you talk a little bit about what it is you're doing.
No, I just by the way, when I'm reaching over, I have a cat that's
big old
eager for
cat.
being petted. So when I'm reaching over, that's what I'm doing. Is you see me do that because he keeps pawing me, wanting me to pay attention to him. So
you're all forgiven.
Thank you. So I'm I've had long time goal of building this grand epic undead table because I always liked the undead factions of whatever stuff.
Well, you're Age of Sigmar player and you play the Grand Alliance of Death, yeah?
Yep.
Well, the little ghosty, wispy guys, like they have such a cool art direction too.
They really do.
Oh yeah. No, what's funny with the Night Haunt is I think
Night Haunt, that's what they're called.
Individually, I think they're some of the most beautiful, awesome models that Games Workshop's made. But as an army, I find them very boring. Like the way they look when you put them all out on the table. I want ghosts to be mixed with other things. I don't like it all to be ghosts all the same size. For some reason, it doesn't really jive with me. So I like the armies.
You feel like the army of the dead wouldn't organize quite so carefully. That they would just be sort of this mixed horde moving forward.
Yeah, so I just like different things in it. It's too monochromatic or like too monotone, I think, is kind of how those ones go. The vampire, the Soulblight Gravelords, the vampire counts are my preferred. They're my favorite.
Well, that vampire theme works well with these train pieces too, right?
Yep. Made to kind of fit that. I had vampires in mind. And so I've wanted to do something like that forever. And so I just decided to go for a Kickstarter, put all the work in. I tend to like to do something productive where if I'm doing something for myself, I see if I can do it in a broader sense to where I can do a business on the side with it, monetize it, and that justifies putting more work and effort into it.
Yeah, no, there's always that trap, right? Of like, well, I'm pretty good at this. Can I make money doing this? Can I teach myself how to hate this?
Well, it's like the internal motivation versus external motivation.
Yeah. Fortunately, I have not gone down the road of spoiling my hobby for me or any of my hobbies in that way. I like making stuff too much, and so if I got sick of it, I would just want to take a break by making something, So it's that kind of, it just kind of keeps going.
Okay. Your break would be by
I would take a break by relaxing and making some more stuff.
Well, how long were you working on these pieces? Because, well, I guess just to start, let me see if I can pull up the Kickstarter page. I probably could have prepared better, but I failed to. I apologize. But how many pieces are in the Forsaken Sentinels set?
See, if I was prepared, I'd just be able to tell you a number. So I'd have to pull that up and
None
count
of us
on
the
Kickstarter.
We're professionals around here, folks.
Yeah, I made them all, but I never counted them. Let's see. I have one sheet. I have one sheet near the beginning of the Kickstarter thing where, oh man, there's probably And it's hard to say in some ways because some things are similar or whatever, but there's probably what 25, 30 pieces. But a lot of them are a lot of it's modular, and you can build out like really big bridges or um, um, elaborate like wrought iron fence things or mazes of wrought iron fence or things like that. Kind of a lot.
Right.
The
The
basic
fences are
idea.
so cool.
Yeah, the basic kind of thing with it is it's not like a fully modular entire thing. There's modular aspects to it. So the sentinels are like the statues, right? And then there's
Okay.
large and small slots. And basically the sentinels, I just made two sizes of them. And you can slot those in the different slots. So if you look at like the bridge, for example, it's got the two towers and the two skeletons on it. So the bridge is fully modular, so it can be built all the way to any size or any width that you want. But those towers on it, you can hold like the skeleton with the sword. There's the gargoyle. There's the tower. The towers on the top of the towers. That's another slot. So you could put a skeleton, like a statue on top of the tower, or even put another tower on top, and so you could make it taller if you wanted. So there's kind of just like this low level of modularity across it. And that little the little platform to the right of the tower, like if you scroll down, you can see that one has if you scroll down a ways, you can see that has sentinels, like 3 different sentinels that sit on it. A ways more to.
No, you have to keep going.
Yeah, just scroll down a bit more.
God, that looks cool.
I think I put
Well,
that
it's great when it's all
tower.
painted up. Did you paint it?
Yeah. So that's the tower there. Or that's
Oh,
the
I
platform
see.
there, so you can sit 3
Yeah.
sentinels on that and make kind of this altar.
Oh, that is kind of cool.
Mr. Kyle, checking the Kickstarter here. How tall is the tallest terrain you have in there in 35 millimeter reasonable scale?
Oh, are you asking for like a conversion? Like if it was, when you're saying in 35 millimeter scale, do you mean like how many feet it would be, or just how many inches it is? So I want to say the tallest piece is the oh, you can see me breaking down the bridge there.
Yeah, we should
Yeah, I
play
was
that
trying to
video
see-
here in a minute.
Trying to see you standing next to it.
The tallest piece is I want to say it's about 35, 36 inches. Is that it's the floating castle. The next tallest piece would be the I think I called it the Crimson Spire, and that's probably 24 inches tall, maybe a little bit more. So they get pretty tall. I actually, so I like because I build everything for playing on the tabletop, right? And so I tried to keep the footprints relatively small so that putting one piece on the table doesn't just dominate the entire battlefield.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That is a bit of a
I printed
trick.
it all myself. Yeah. Yep. So that's a display board. That has the biggest footprint, but that's because it's supposed to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but it's also,
also as a-
designed.
And you could actually
But
play
also
over
as
the
a
top of
playing
it.
surface over it. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it is a playing surface.
Good
That's the
Lord.
spire. There's a turnaround of it just below it, a video of it, so you can see the full. I thought it had a painted turnaround. I guess they just have the that one.
I see no painted turnaround.
Yeah, I missed
More
the painted
cool
turnaround
cool
of that.
towers.
That little tower there, so that is a stack. So you can see that the middle section is a tower section.
Oh, I see. So you can
And then
keep
the
building it
spire
up
is a
if you
tower.
want.
So you could put more middle sections. You can put statues on it. You could take the middle section out and put a statue directly on the top of that. So yeah, it's you can get some whatever. So yeah, so the footprints. I want to be able to like put cool stuff on a gaming table, but have space to play still. And so I tend to go tall a lot. So and if you look at these, their footprints are, you can put it on your battlefield. You can put even the large pieces on the battlefield, and it doesn't dominate the whole thing. And the Bloodkeep, the flying castle, that one actually takes up very little space technically, because the only spot on it that is really blocking miniatures moving is right below the front gate.
Yeah.
Because there's a bundle of chains that feeds down, and you can't really put miniatures under there, but the whole rest of that base is basically open except for where the chains meet it. So you can play in and around and under it.
Just technically, it's a forest.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what we'll call it.
yeah. You could call it a forest. The only limitation is you couldn't put giant bases in under it because there's
Yeah,
not
Right.
necessarily enough room or enough height.
but still, that's a lot of playing space under it. Like it's
yeah, yeah,
actually a really cool big centerpiece without taking up
yep,
much space on the playing field at all.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
actually really cool.
It takes up very little, and even the bridge is tall enough. You can put most miniatures, unless they're big miniatures, under the bridge arches, so you can even play under the bridge.
Now, for the video, you printed all of these yourself, or
Yep, yep. All
what
printed and
printer are you
painted by
using
me.
these days?
Just Bamboo Lab printers. I have an
Mm.
X1C and an A1. They
Those
work
bamboos are
fantastic.
amazing.
Yeah, I've just
Can I
fantastic
test?
printers. I went through I started printing. Man, my first printer was an old Flash Forge, and it was a bugger to get anything to work on that. And then I went through a couple of Creality printers that were garbage. Had
I
problems.
still use a Creality workhorse.
Oh man, I can't believe people can still use those. It's so much more difficult.
Well, it works for me because that's such a big build plate that we can build costume pieces on it still.
Yeah, that's the thing that I've been surprised. Bamboo finally put out a pretty big printer.
I'll have to look at that.
It's
Okay.
obviously, I think the newest one is about $1,000. I think for their big, simple new one. They have a more expensive new one, but yeah, no, the switch to Bamboo was fantastic because I'm able to mess with things and fix printers and stuff like that, but I just don't want to. I want to make things and just print them. I don't want the printing to be the hobby. I want it to be the tool. So
Yep, I'm the same. It's part of why I haven't even changed it. It's like, nah, I know how to get this one to work. I don't care.
if it's working, I'd still be printing on one if it still worked. Not as much though, because it's not as fast and doesn't print as well though, I guess. So there's that.
It's not. I mean, we've just been holding out at this point. We definitely are due for an upgrade, but at the same time, I kind of take advantage of my wonderful friend's boyfriend. So Flizz boy has a Bamboo and it's beautiful and everything it prints is so good. In fact, because I did back your Kickstarter, I am excited to have him print all of these pieces.
Oh yeah, that'll be great. And this, I will say, another aspect of design on this is one of the things that's helpful in FDM printing in design is verticality. A lot of people, when I brought this stuff and showed it to people, they're like, I don't see layer lines. Like, where are the layer lines? How did you print it so nicely? And it's I didn't do anything special except for the design is very vertical. The places when you look at it, you can see layer lines like on the tops of the heads or things like that, where you get the very gradual slope.
Yeah, I was going to say there's not a lot of gradual slopes. Yep. Because that's where they show vertical.
Up. Yep. And so, and they are, you don't really notice them after it's painted. There's quite a bit of texture in the sculpts and everything like that. And so, on a good printer that doesn't have little bits of layer shifting and stuff, you kind of have to look for the layer lines. So.
Okay. Well, that's really helpful. It's cool. I mean, it looks so good. I'm so impressed how much filament printing has come along because it seemed like resin was really winning out for the longest time. And man, those gates, they look so good. Are there a lot of supports on these, or what do they look like?
So the gates, all of those fence pieces, the only things that need supports, and it's very simple, is the if you go, you'll be able to actually, you can see me put a gate together in a video right below that. If you want to see how they all go together. Oh, sorry, is it? Oh no, you have to scroll up to where the gates are. So on those, it's just under the floating. It's funny. I keep wanting to point at the screen to tell you things, and that's not very helpful. Where is my video? Oh, it's under there. Yep. So the pieces that hook over the top of the other pivot points, you just need to put, that's me putting, there's like I have a linker in there so you can link like up to 4 gates from a single point, not gates, fences or whatever from a single point.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And then you slot the little sentinel holder on top. You can put a sentinel guy there. And then you can just extend those out as much as you have pieces for. But those parts that clip over the top, you just have a very simple set of tree supports under each of those, and they just pop right off. It's
that is super cool
to support those. All the wrought iron itself is all self-supporting. There's no other supports in it.
So they set and they don't wedge in, so you can even kind of shift the
you
gate.
can rotate it around. Yeah, I had the kind of a thought that would be really cool to build like an entire maze of, spooky maze to whatever move things through. But
Yeah, that'd
I
be
didn't print
awesome.
and paint enough pieces up to do a full big maze. But
No, it's beautiful. I'm so impressed. Like the stone trove is very cool and like very practical. And this one, it's a whole other level. Like it really captures the imagination of wanting to recreate like the spooky graveyard or the, the citadel that you're gonna go beat up a wizard in.
Yeah.
Or however you spend your time. I don't know.
Sure.
I just keep looking anymore. I look at almost everything through the eyes of, could I play Advanced Hero Quest with that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Boys has been very excited about that.
Oh yeah. No, I only played well no, I never played. Did I play Advanced Hero Quest? I played Warhammer Quest and the old Hero Quest.
Okay.
I don't think I ever
Yeah,
played
this was
Advanced
just like
Hero.
right in between them.
Yeah, I
essentially.
remember that.
It's the one that I ended up picking up as a kid, so it's got a little special place for me. I bet Warhammer Quest is also really good. I end up never really playing it.
Mhm.
Well,
You know,
Jeremy's
Jeremy,
saying he
I
needs
want to
chaos
make.
terrain now.
I've toyed with chaos terrain, making chaos terrain a fair bit. One of the things that reasons why I haven't is I definitely know of chaos things I could make that would be cool, but I don't know if I have I don't feel like I have a hook for what would make
Like a
an
unique
awesome set of
approach.
chaos terrain. Because I'm thinking like, things that are like tentacles growing out of it, like some whatever. You can make like a scary, like a castle with spikes and skulls and everything, and that's all awesome. But I don't know that I have a particular hook that I'm that like that kind of feel would have a unique touch to it. So I don't know. The other theme that I've really toyed with, I've even done some work on it, but it was years ago, was kind of I'd say it would be for Stormcast Eternals, but the inspiration for it would be something more along the lines of in Diablo 3, the heavens world, where it's all like the white spires and the kind of cool marble spires and gold elements and stuff like that. That's kind of be the inspiration for a set that was similar to that. That's not something I've seen really explored very much. It would look good with elves. It would look good with Stormcast. But that's probably the other theme that I've really toyed with doing is that theme for a set.
It's like there's that one, but this one is so universal in a lot of ways, because not only is it Undead Army, it's like every role-playing game. You want to play at least one campaign where you go in and like attack this thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of great.
The Lich or the Vampire or the whatever. It's very yep. No, that would be more of a niche, and I got to watch out for niches for sure. Stone Trove did well because everyone wants rock. Everyone needs rocks, I guess.
Yeah.
You need stuff that fills up the table, but like in a usable way.
Yeah.
The rocks are cool because they can kind of make these borders and they can create obstacles. But this is really cool because there's just a lot more like in the middle of the table, I guess you would have with this. Yeah. So I like it.
Well, I love the bridge. The bridge could make.
Yeah.
I mean, the bridge is a really cool addition.
The bridge, the gates, the statuary. Oh, so good.
Oh, the gates. Yeah.
How long have you been a 3D modeler now?
I started. I started in college when I was 21, probably. So that would be 24 years. I started in the games industry in 2008. So that's been 17 years I've been in the games industry. So that's when I would be starting as a professional modeler.
Getting paid for it.
Yes. When I'm being paid, being paid for doing good enough work that someone will pay me. Yeah, basically. Oh shoot, I was gonna say something and
I was gonna say, what was that like in 2008? Because the market crashed right at that time.
yeah, that was interesting because so I went to, and it was also a time when there wasn't, YouTube wasn't much of a thing or anything at that point, all that stuff. So when I started with the intent to get into the games industry, um, I started a little college in Utah. Well, it's not a little college; it's a university in Utah, and um, their program was very bad for modeling. It was just
Oh,
teachers didn't know anything, the whatever. It was a complete
Yeah.
waste of time.
One of those
And
things where they're like, "Oh yeah, no, you know computers, right? So
yeah, I
here's
kind of.
this computer modeling course." They're
yeah,
No,
like,
I know what you're talking about. I was in Albuquerque in the '90s when I started learning, taking computer animation
oh
classes,
yeah.
and so we were working on Lightwave.
That was what I started in
Is
Utah.
it?
Was Lightwave. Yep. Yeah, and the teacher didn't know anything about it. They just had us look in the book, and then we'd just basically do our learn from the book. It was, it was a real waste.
waste of
So
money.
that was actually way back in the really early 2000s. Um, uh,
Well, I wonder
and
if it's the same because the mid '90s is when I was doing it, but it was almost like you took those classes because they had access to 3D programs. And that's basically what you're paying for is like, hey, look, we have
yeah,
SGI machines and they will run light Lightwave. So there you
yeah,
go. That's what your
no,
tuition's paying
Mhm.
for.
yeah, no. In a way, you're probably right. Like there was this level of that's how you get access. Uh, and yeah, it was just it wasn't set up well. I actually went to school for a couple semesters there. Then and it wasn't gonna work well, and so I left school, worked for a couple of years, and then I decided I really need to get in gear, and so I just found what I perceived as the best school for getting in the industry, and just went there, and that was DigiPen up in the Seattle area, um, and I was probably right. I don't know if there were any better schools for it at the time. I don't know if there still are. Honest, as an artist, I would probably tell most people not go to college now and just
Oh
learn
yeah,
everything on YouTube and everything. But at the time,
I
I
would
didn't have those
agree. Actually,
resources. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say there are some places that want you to have a degree before they'll look at you, but for the most part, like
yeah,
just
and if
have a demo
yeah,
reel.
if you're an artist, nobody cares at all.
Yeah.
So I went to DigiPen. I went to DigiPen for two
Oh.
years of a 4-year program. And after 2 years, I felt like I had the necessary experience and ability to get a job in the industry. And so I didn't want to get into any more debt. And so I left DigiPen, uh, 2 years, actually almost a year and a half in. My last semester, I cut out all the fluff classes because I didn't want to pay for them and I didn't want to waste my time on them if I wasn't going to get a full degree. So I basically went to like a year and a half of DigiPen. Um, and then I didn't. It's funny because looking back, it was very hard to get in the industry. I actually left. I put out my portfolio. I got 0 bites. Um, it's funny. I ran into another artist who was in the industry at the gym, who was actually an environment artist too, which is what I do. And I showed him my portfolio, and he said my portfolio had some basically said your modeling is good, but your texturing, which is applying the surface colors
Painting the
and
surface
yeah,
basically.
basically
Mm.
surface. It's not just colors, but also specularity and all the whatever. He
Yeah.
said, but that's just garbage, and he was very straightforward with it. He's like, your modeling's good, your texturing is garbage. Um,
Man, that's what you want
Well,
though.
that's
You want somebody to
it
just
was
tell you.
it was
You
very
you
know?
need
valuable
you need
for me.
constructive criticism, so that way you can
Yeah,
actually build up and improve your portfolio and the skills you need to do the job and get work. So that was
yeah.
great.
Imagine the time I'd have wasted if he hadn't said that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he gave me a kick in the butt. There was also when I was going to DigiPen, I didn't necessarily aim at being an environment artist. I was interested in concept art. I was interested in doing creatures because that's what I'd done. But I actually did have a strong interest and background in environment art. And environment art just is basically I make everything in the world that's not a creature or a person or something like that. So
Like
houses,
non-organics.
rocks, trees, and plants and things like that.
Okay, that's fair.
Weapons. I make all sorts of stuff. I don't tend to do really armor that much or things like that because those generally tie into the character.
Yeah, with
art.
video game models, the armor is almost like a weird extension of the model or of the character model, and so
Yeah,
it's like that's a different animal
it's
entirely.
it's very much part of character design. So like I could easily build pieces of armor, but as far as the full integration and the design and kind of the sense of fashion and how much people in the character art study armor and the way they'd want to do it and fit it and how it looks, whatever, I haven't had all that time into that. So basically, so I'm an environment artist. So it's easier to become an environment or prop artist in the game industry, probably in movies and whatever, than it is to be a character artist or concept artist. And so as a practical move, I decided to redo my entire portfolio with an aim at being a prop artist. And I did that. And I sent out my portfolio. It took me about 6 months. I sent out my portfolio again, and I got a little bit of response. But while I was going through that, I contacted DigiPen and I said, "Hey, I'm having difficulty landing a job. Do you guys have any resources that could be helpful?" And they said, "Oh yeah," they said, "we have in fact we have a upcoming thing with ArenaNet, which is the studio that makes Guild Wars 2, where they're going to come to the studio and look at people's portfolios and yada yada yada." And so you're invited to come. And I think I talked to them like on a Wednesday, and the thing was Friday. And so I went to that.
You're like, hurry up, go.
Yeah. So I went to that, and ArenaNet just basically hired all of the. There was probably 6 or 8 students, well, graduated students. I was the only one who wasn't a graduated student. They hired like 6 or 8 graduated students there, including me, as interns at that point, and that was my start.
Nice.
So, and that was in 2008. So it was, looking back and knowing 2008 was actually a really bad economic time, I'm like, oh, no wonder it was probably very difficult for me to get a job at that point. So I was
like, it actually worked out quite well that you managed to.
Yeah. I feel blessed, and I landed at a fantastic company. And they hired me on full time after just a couple of months, and it's great from there. I was at ArenaNet for 15 years, and then about 2 years ago, I got an offer from a different company, and I switched to a different company.
Okay. Nice.
Okay. So if you were to say today, like, that you're a level 20 and modeler, what level were you when you got that job?
Oh, when I got a job at ArenaNet?
Yeah.
Back in the day? Oh, geez.
Like a 10, a 5, a 2, like.
Oh man,
because I feel like on the job learning, you learn a lot.
Yeah. On the job is so much more. And there's an interesting. So in some ways, it's a little hard to compare because there's a thing as an artist that happens when you are learning software, and that is when you're first learning new software, you have a very bad sense of how good you're doing at it, because I think the way it kind of works psychologically is you're trying to solve problems of like, how can I get this accomplished? And it's taking up all of your
Like
judgment
capacity
and assessment.
Yeah.
And then when you get a function to work how you think it should work, then it looks good to you, but it doesn't necessarily aesthetically look good if you're just judging it based on its own merits, right? It looks good to you because you accomplished a goal that you had in learning the software and doing something. And so, and software has changed a lot. What you can do in ZBrush is the primary program I use for sculpting, or the only one I use for actual sculpting. what you can do now is so much better than what you could do then. I mean, I've grown as an artist tremendously, but I guess if I was to say an amateur was at level 1 and a decent modeler, I've always had a pretty good feel for sculpting. The software, obviously, learning software is a thing, but I was probably, if an amateur was at a 5, I was probably at a 7.
Okay, so you've like just over the last years, you feel like you have just more than doubled like your skill.
Oh yeah, I'm just dramatically better. And a lot of that comes from just work, but a lot of it comes from I've done an enormous amount of sculpting on my own at home.
Okay.
Apart from work, I put in a lot of hours. You know, separate from work as well, and that actually gives it's a real benefit. Even professionally, it's a real benefit because I'm able to learn the software in more in depth, get better at it, and just improve as an artist. So
No, there's a lot to be said for putting in your own time, right? And you're practicing. I know there's ZBrush and what's the other one? Tell me,
So-
like Will.
so ZBrush
Oh,
is one.
3D
Mudbox.
Studio Max has kind of their version called Mudbox.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's kind of the ZBrush is probably the bigger, more industry standard one though.
Yeah, Mudbox never took off. Mudbox and ZBrush were kind of neck and neck way back when I was in school, actually. And Mudbox, I think, kind of stagnated. It had some interesting features. It was easier to start. You could learn the basics of Mudbox faster because ZBrush is just a convoluted program. But ZBrush just kept adding just so many useful tools and so many useful things. It just improved and improved and improved, and now it's just completely universal. I don't know of anybody in the industry who does high-res sculpting that doesn't use ZBrush as their program.
Now,
Okay.
I know Blender just goes crazy with like the amount of stuff that they add. Does Blender have any kind of analog to ZBrush?
So Blender's an interesting one. It's kind of catch-all. You got plugins to do almost anything. It's certainly not. You can do impressive things sculpting wise, but it's certainly not got the means that ZBrush does. The trick with Blender is Blender is very powerful if you can get past the learning curve. And the learning curve is rough.
It looks like magic.
Yeah, the learning curve is a cliff, as far as I can tell.
And it's rough for me. Like I decided at one point I was going to learn Blender because I wanted to have the utility of both the open source software and it's got some powerful tools that would be really, really handy. And I just gave up. It sucked. I was really bad to learn. And I'm someone who, I know a lot of software, art software. I'm not starting as complete, whatever.
I've walked up to it several times over the last few decades, and it's just like, oof, this is a lot. Yeah. And it's so fundamentally different. I use 3D Studio Max, and so it's so very different than that, and so it's just kind of weird working with it.
Yeah. I wish that it clicked with me better. But it didn't. And I don't know if I really put the effort in someday, I don't think I would actually bother with Blender at this point. I think one is maybe someday it'll take over more of the industry, but it's rare that a studio uses Blender as a primary software package.
What would you say they use mostly?
It's Max and Maya.
Is it Max? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
Maya, basically an artist software, standard artist software in the industry today is Max or Maya, usually one or the other. ZBrush, everybody uses ZBrush, and then you do the texture work in Substance Painter, and if you're an environment artist and some possibly a character artist, but it's more rare, there's a program called Substance Designer. That's a way to generate textures. It's a really interesting type of program, but Substance Painter, Substance Designer, and then
that's an Adobe tool.
Yep. They used to not be. Adobe bought them out, which
that sucks.
Yeah, I wasn't thrilled that Adobe bought them.
I hate Adobe.
I don't have fond feelings for Adobe either. I will say though that thus far they've shepherded them well. I think they've done
Okay.
a good job with features. They've actually added useful features. So I won't complain yet. I was actually much more sad about Maxon buying ZBrush than Adobe buying, because ZBrush was its own thing for a long time. It's super good at adding useful tools and whatnot, and it's still a great program. But Maxon bought it, and thus far I am not too super thrilled with their shepherding of it. And
Now, when you
then-
said people either know Max or Maya, like, do most companies use both, or are they like, we only hire Max artists or Maya artists?
any artist can really learn.
You can,
to
if you know one of
switch
those, you can
together.
jump to the other one real easy. Max and Maya are very similar, I think, or at
It's-
least they used to be like 5-10 years ago.
So I'll say I think the jump it's painful, but if you jump in with both feet, it can be fairly fast. I learned Max in college. I had to learn Maya to at my first job. Actually, at ArenaNet, they hired me, and they said basically they gave me the offer, and then they called me and said, "Oh shoot, we thought you knew Maya, so we need you to be able to work right away, so we won't be able to hire you after all." And I was like, well, I mean, but she said, but when you do learn Maya, we'd be interested in taking you, in having you. And so I was like, well, how much do I need to learn Maya? Like, how good do I need to be at Maya? And I said, could I just come in and talk to the team and see whatever? And she said, oh yeah, you can do that. And then I
So
went
you
in and
did
talked to
make
the
that
team.
jump, basically.
Yes, I went in and talked to the team, and they were like, we were thinking about it, and you'll be fine. We'll just bring you on. I didn't have to learn before I went on. And
Well, it's
then I
because
made the
mostly
jump.
you're just using ZBrush anyway, so they're like,
Not then.
Oh, no.
Actually, this in 2008. ZBrush was still. It just wasn't. It wasn't the thing that everyone used at that point. That high res sculpting like that hadn't become the norm yet. Some studios were really picking it up. But so I did learn Maya, and now in my current job, funny enough, I'm working on the expansion for Grim Dawn. That's right now, and Grim Dawn is an old game, and they use Max, and I have to move my models through Max to export them for the game. And I hate using Max. It's just miserable. I hate it. I never want to touch it again. So theoretically, I could have learned and done whatever, but I just hate it. So I want to stay with Maya forever. So
Nice.
This is, I guess, for my own personal thing. Maya, is that how do they do that now? Is everything just gone to a subscription plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically,
because man, some of those
Everything's trash.
I know Max is like thousands every year. Like it's not like Adobe. It's expensive.
I think you can get so I was running a subscription for Maya for $300 a year up until just a year or two ago. Yeah, I'd imagine there's some subscription for Max that's roughly similar.
Max is expensive. It's over $1,000. Last I looked, which is like a couple of years ago, it was like $1,100, $1,700, something like that. It was not cheap.
Interesting. Yeah, I know Maya used to have like this Maya LT, like Maya Lite. It was cheaper, and then they switched to maybe it was Maya. Maybe I was actually just subscribed to Maya Lite, but it had everything I needed. I don't use a lot of as a modeler. I don't use a lot of the in-depth stuff that like Maya or Max has to offer. In fact, I mostly use that as a pass-through for my whatever I'm doing, because almost all my time is spent in ZBrush, and then I kind of just put things together at the end in Max or Maya. Now I don't really do any meaningful modeling in those.
Okay.
No, it's kind of funny because it's like Blender. Well, my little brother learned Blender when it first came out, and he still makes stuff in there. And I guess, he was, I don't know, 14 or whatever learning it. So he just grew up with it. And so there's like the free option, and then there's like however many thousands of dollars a year unless you have some sort of student maybe discount
Yeah.
or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. Or you get to learn it through work. It's such a, like, on the one side, on the one hand, it's very democratized, right? I mean, you mentioned you can learn so many things on
Yeah.
YouTube, and there are a bajillion Blender videos, although
Yeah.
I don't know that they're that good.
They're
But,
good ones, but it's just a hard
They
program.
range.
It's just a
Yeah.
hard program. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you get that with like video editing software, similar, or
Yeah.
learning programs like After Effects or Fusion. So I love
Yeah,
that there's information out there, but
Yeah, I would say, and I'm not sure about the subscription to Max that being that expensive, but it's a give and a take because I bought ZBrush way back in the day when it didn't have a subscription, and it cost me like $700. Max I was subscribed to for $300 a year, I think, or $360 a year. Substance Painter and Substance Designer, Adobe's subscription for those. I want to say I was paying $40 a year. Or no, sorry, a month. $40 a month.
Yeah.
Well, that's all
For the Adobe
pretty-
stuff, I think it's 50 for if you have more than one program, then they're like $50. And
I
then
think
you
it
own.
depends on what breakdown, because they have a ton of programs, and it's whatever package you're using. I believe.
Yeah.
So I'm not
We
totally
still
sure.
have a video production package we pay for with Adobe.
And it's
Like,
possible that
I wonder if it's in that. I'm
more expensive.
curious.
It probably wouldn't be by default if you were trying to get a trimmed down package, because it's very separate from what you're doing on that. But so in a way though, like it's you can do it easier than I could back in the day. It was expensive.
Oh, yeah.
You had if you're trying to learn and you're starting out and you need to pony up $1,000 or something up front, or $1,500 up front, that's a hard pill to swallow. But if you can subscribe for $30 a month, $40 a month, at least you can give it a whirl, right?
you can try it, without
Yeah.
being so put off by it. That's always the trick there.
Let's see here. Google's AI month overview says that what is it here? A monthly subscription for 3ds Max costs approximately $235 to $255 per month.
Wow, why is it so expensive? That's bizarre.
Yeah, I remember it always kind of was though. Like that's what I always
Yeah.
kind of.
I don't know why Maya
noticed.
would be so much cheaper. I guess that was another perk of doing Maya, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Maybe, but
I don't know if they have a lot of in-depth built-in tech support that's supposed to be built into that. Maybe that's what they justify it with. But I don't know.
I honestly don't know. I know that different artists prefer different programs. I feel like Maya is more popular than Max overall. That's my gut.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
so.
I don't have official whatever on that. But I do think it's more common. But why it would be so much cheaper? And maybe again they have a Maya
maybe it's
Lite
more common
program.
because it's cheaper. A lot of
Mm.
people
Maybe.
learn on it, and that's the one they prefer.
Maybe they're trying to
Yeah.
get out of Maya or Max. Let Max die so they only have.
Oh
that
man,
one program.
schools were such a big factor for a long time. I know Mac users are built almost entirely since the 90s. Like the idea that Mac users do the graphic design, they do video editing, they do all that. I don't know about graphic design anymore, honestly, but I know that for like the film industry, Mac is not the standard anymore.
Yeah, when I went to school back in Utah, and it was whatever, and they didn't know anything. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, professionals all use Macs and
Yeah,
not 3ds Max, but Macintosh
yeah,
computers," and that was complete hogwash. Nobody uses them.
yep.
Nobody uses them anywhere. Again, maybe graphic designers use them. I have no idea, but it's certainly not games industry.
Yeah, no, it was just I'm trying to think what you would even call it. It was just sort of the thing everyone knew because it was old, like the old saying since the 90s, because they were because originally a Mac was the one with a GUI. Wasn't
Yeah.
until
Right.
Windows that the graphic user interface is GUI. But
Yeah,
it wasn't until Windows came out that DOS based programs even had a GUI, and so they kind of got the jump on Photoshop and things like that. And so like they would then donate everything to schools. If you ever went to a design school or anything throughout the 90s, you just did everything on a Mac.
Yeah.
And so it built this sort of reputation that everyone just
Right.
sort of agreed was the case for decades. It was a real smart business move.
Yeah.
For 'em.
And then everyone left college and got PCs and did Windows.
Well, they were like, dang, Macs are expensive.
Well, I think once it moved to the point where you could go out and, because for a while, like the machines were still real pricey to do anything professional.
Yeah.
But once you started being able to sort of build a Windows machine that was pretty beefy and could do work, and more and more work could be done on that machine, like professional work, I think people started being like, yeah, this is way cheaper. Like just building this machine is cheaper. Like, I think I'm just going to figure out how to work with this, because you used to be able to get twice as much performance out of half the cost if you could just build your own Windows machine. And so, for people that were, smaller studios, things like that, I think that's when they started moving more toward Windows.
So much of the market is so different now. Paul says, maybe to your Maya Max point, it's like game devs choosing between the Unreal Engine or the Unity engine.
Yeah.
You have to build up their stuff and then Andy just joining us. Welcome. All of us English majors are using Macs these days. Okay.
Oh, interesting.
I'm sorry.
I would
Most
love
unfortunate.
to 3D scan my terrain and mass produce it. So have you messed much with photogrammetry to like where you take a bunch of pictures of a real life object to create a 3D model?
I don't know if, well, Dana, you and I have talked about that a little bit. So we know Dana from Valhalla. So so I've had, as you can imagine, many long conversations with him about just about everything really. But I've messed around with it some. I've used Meshroom to do it, but I haven't actually reapproached it again in a little while. And I know that the AI space, because Meshroom photogrammetry, it's all actually AI based in order to calculate where these images are, to kind of interpret the images, stuff like that. And I've seen there's been a lot of newer, I guess, better, more advanced versions of stuff where you can just take several photos of an object and it'll build a 3D model from it.
Yeah,
but they're messy, right?
Pretty well, but much better than they used to. I've done a tiny bit of photogrammetry, and I've done a moderate amount. I have a scanner, a 3D scanner that I think can work pretty well. And I've mostly actually just used it to scan Warhammer models that I'm going to build accessories for, so I can get the size and proportions of what I'm modeling for them proper. I've mostly just used it for that. I feel like if you have an expensive scan, well, one of the issues with scanners, at least the quality I have, and I'm not sure how much others have, is the surface finish of the object you're scanning matters a lot on how well it picks up the detail. And so having the right surface finish makes a big deal.
So it has to be very matte, right? Like any specularity can really confuse it.
Yeah, specularity can confuse it. It has to be matte, but it also has to be light enough to do it. And there's like expensive sprays that you can buy that you spray things with.
It's like a speckle spray, right?
Well, it's not a speckle. It's like a spray that will then like dissolve or evaporate over time, so it doesn't theoretically ruin your model.
Oh, interesting.
So that's definitely whatever. But I think if you have an expensive scanner and you have the right whatever, you can get really crisp, basically perfect scans. But if you don't, I think there's often a lot of little fiddly errors and stuff that, depending on how important it is, could be not.
No matter what, you have to clean up the piece because it always has usually it has weird, I don't know, extra polygons or.
Well, and oftentimes it's not even manifold. And so you have to clean it up just to make it 3D printable.
Yeah. There's always going to be cleanup, and there's probably pretty good programs for general cleanup now. I just do all my stuff kind of manually in ZBrush because it's just what it's already what I do, so I don't,
Right.
So what is it? You'd use mostly like retopography software to clean it up? Is that what people do typically now?
I don't know. I don't know actually. I just use my own, what I'm used to. Because I can bring in
Same here. I just use
yeah.
3D Studio Max.
Yeah, I can bring in whatever the asset is in whatever condition it is, and then just work with it from there. So I don't know. I'm sure there's pretty good automated things that, if the scan is good, can probably do a pretty good job. But it's not that experienced with it.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, no, I know some of that has really come up in the last few years. Well, when did you last use Mushroom, Tommy?
Oh my God.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember. It was mostly last year. I was using it some, and then and a year before that, I've just been my focus has been on other projects, so I hadn't revisited it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been kind of curious to look at it again because I was using it before I started using Comfy UI, and so for those who are familiar, Comfy UI it's an generative AI software, but you run it on your own machine, you do your own plugins, and it's a node-based interface. And I remember when using Mushroom, it was a node-based interface, and I didn't think much of it at the time. It was like, oh, okay, I guess that's how this program works. But now having used a lot of AI tools, it's like, oh, yeah, I actually have a good sense of what it was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just haven't really gone back and messed with it much since then. And I half expect I could probably even run that in Comfy UI at this point. So
I guess
it's interesting.
Well,
But
it's just, yeah. It would behoove me not to ask about like how much AI impacts things, because you can go in and you have the skill now to just whip up something in ZBrush, right? But how many people are going to be like, well, I can just go to this website and it makes a thing for me?
Yeah, that's I'd say that's the big question, right? Is the AI and artists and how that all comes together. I will say thus far, I haven't messed extensively with AI, and I haven't messed with it to generate geometry yet. Just for seeing about images and other useful things. And what I've seen is that if you need something generic and details don't matter, then it's okay for the job.
Okay.
But as soon as you start needing to refine and to get specific things to happen, it breaks down completely and it can't do it.
Yeah,
that's what I've seen.
That's typically what I've seen as well. It's there's one I'd actually be interested to I'd have to look up the name of it again, but there's one AI interface tool that is specifically for texturing models.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll do it through AI, and that's kind of fascinating to me. I hadn't had a chance to really mess with it much, but I've done generative images, video, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really use the websites to do it. I use Comfy because it's a lot more powerful and customizable. But even with all that customization, I mean, there really is like, I've done 3D animation for years, and it's in a lot of ways it's very similar actually. But in other ways, it's like, here, let me change this model a little bit. It's like, can you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're pulling stuff into Photoshop. You're doing other stuff like that a lot. You'll find, and so.
Yeah, and I think one of the couple aspects of how it's kind of playing out, and probably will continue to play out, is, in AI, you're probably going to be led by the software instead of be the leader of the software, if you know what I mean. Because you can't refine it to your own vision. You kind of, as you try to refine it, it loses things that you were trying to keep. And I think that's probably an issue with the actual underlying technology and not something. And who knows? I'm a super expert, but I think
with like the fundamentals of the software are kind of where some of those roadblocks run into.
I think it's a fundamental issue and isn't going to probably be fixed by these models, but I could be wrong on that. I also, it's kind of funny how it's so that kind of, when something becomes super plentiful, its value goes down.
Yeah.
And then people get bored with it and they look for novelty instead of what's everywhere. And I suspect that there's a percent of the population who's going to be very satisfied with a lot of the AI stuff that comes out in the future. Though I'm hesitant to think that I don't think it's going to get nearly as good with the technology that, like with the approach they're doing, as most people are expecting it to be. It won't be as useful. But if it is as useful, I still think the artists will probably have a good purpose because of novelty, and people will care, and it'll be a separating factor. But I don't know what the future will hold for how far it'll go. But I'm not that worried personally. Maybe it'll bite me in the butt, but not too worried yet. And honestly, it's 2 years ago. 3 years ago, people were all freaking out about it and how much it was doing, and there's some studios doing some stuff, but honestly, you're just not. I'm not seeing much real movement on it yet. You still need the artists. It's.
I think that we've talked about it a lot because I jumped in with both feet for a while. Like, I've got a lot of very powerful AI tools that I've gotten pretty good at, but it's the sort of thing where you look at and you're like, yeah, no, this will do a lot. That, like, if you're a good artist, you don't have to worry. It's the sort of tool that really will sort of weed out some of the mediocrity. And it's almost, how would I put it? It's almost like you started to see, do you remember when Napster came out and the music industry was just like, whoa, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. What's going on here? And it used to be that if you put out an album at all, you'll make certain amount of money. You just will,
Yeah.
And it started to change it where it's like, wait a minute, people are able to just sort of take this stuff. So we have to figure out better ways to offer value because it's just a thing that's coming. The film industry has started to finally hit it too with this once internet connectivity and the codec architecture got to the point where you really could stream HD movies just fine. Then suddenly the film industry is like, hey, whoa, wait a minute. It's like, yeah, welcome to the music industry like 20 years ago, And it's like, you see that sort of thing because people are able to get so much so fast, just instantly. Right. And I think illustrative art, I guess is what I call it. Like illustrative art, modeling, just anything that's generative, where you're building art is starting to fall into a little bit of that too, where it's like, yeah, I mean, if I just need, it's like, if you've done much editing and things like that, then you're like, we need stock footage of some birds flying over a lake. And it's like, okay, well, what subscription have we paid for? Or what, box of, I remember, in the early 2000s, you would buy these boxes of DVDs, right? They would sell stock footage compilations, and they would sell, there's just stuff that you would have bought for your company or you do whatever to have access to this stuff, or you're stuck going out and filming something like that yourself. Now you're just like, hey, all right, I need birds flying over a lake. And it's just like, all right, 10 minutes later, okay, we got it. Plug it in, let's go. And it's like, well, wait a minute. There's a bunch of people that built their livings by filming stock footage and by, selling this. And it's like, well, they're probably going to go now it's going to be a little bit more on the shoulders of the people who are doing the more creative stuff with that stock footage or the creative stuff. And so the people that were just sort of making donuts in the art industry will probably go away. Whereas I think the more creative minds can never be replaced. And I think those people are still safe.
Despite everyone's desperate attempts to replace real artists, I think they are impossible.
Yeah, I suspect there'll be some real disruption. I can't. I don't know how. I don't feel like it's going to play out like a lot of people think. I have an interesting observation on AI generated art. You know how? Have you noticed, like on YouTube thumbnails, it's like very successful channels don't use AI art, they use real whatever, and it's the smaller channels that tend to use AI art for their thumbnails and whatnot. So it's kind of funny. It could have been a predictable thing to know that your high end basically is something becomes plentiful, like being able to get something that looks like people or the situation that you're going to do your video on would have been something that a well-funded channel would have had access to. But then when it became something that
that
through
everyone
AI
has
art,
access
that
to.
everybody has it,
Yeah.
now the differentiation between a well-funded channel and a poorly funded channel is the poorly funded one uses AI art to make it look like they're expensive and the expensive one doesn't.
Mhm.
So there's an interesting split where it's kind of the proof of slop that it's there instead of the prestigious thing. I think that theme is going to have a lot more play in how the world reacts to it than I think people are giving it credit for, where it's kind of the AI, and knowing something's AI to some degree is going to make it the trashy, the worthless thing, and because there's not going to become more consumers, right? Hours of media consumed isn't going to go up meaningfully, but amount of media being
Well, it hits a
consumed
critical mass after a while. Hits a point where it's like, okay, everyone's watching everything already. So it's
nobody has time to consume more media than they already do.
correct.
So the excess in media production, then it's just differentiation, and differentiation is likely to come the differentiation is likely to come from trust that it's not like AI slop to some
The
degree.
feeling of authenticity, right?
Yeah, I was going to say there's
authenticity.
a line, a post that Elon Musk had made a couple of years ago, but where he was explaining where he's just like, no, authenticity is going to be the new currency of the internet, because not only there's so many bots running around doing stuff, there's just, it's like, you just want to know there's a real person that is authentically there and that, you have a connection or whatever. And so it's interesting for a while. And I say in Hollywood, the gaming industry kind of falls in this to a degree, but the intellectual or the age of the superstar, the A-lister star, was gone because, Captain America is the A-lister, Iron Man's the A-lister, the Xenomorph is the A-lister. And so like that was going for a while. But I think that you get to a certain point and it's like, well, actually, we're going to need to start going back to it because we actually want to know that this is authentically the person we like. And so, if with the gaming industry, it's like, well, Games Workshop is the big name. In fact, GW started fighting personality, with Duncan Rhodes. After he went, they're like, how about we just show you from your hands and chest? We don't get to see your face. Like, we'll just do painting videos. You don't get to be a personality. The intellectual property is the personality. But I think it's starting to turn a lot more toward, Duncan Rhodes has kind of proven, like, he's gone and made his own paint line and done his own thing because people like him. They like his judgment. And it's like the same is going to be true with movies. Same is going to be true with, I think, most creative endeavors now.
Yeah. I think there's a percentage of the population who won't care at all if something's AI or not, and they'll be happy to consume whatever. And then I think different people will have different things that bother them. Like for me personally, I would have zero interest in reading literature done by AI. Even if everyone said it was amazing. Even if everyone said it was amazing, I would just have zero interest in it. It would completely shut me off of it. I would actually rather, ironically, as an artist, I would, not that I'm interested in AI generated art, but I would be less offended, and that's not the right word, but less offended by AI art than AI literature, for example. So so I, even with myself, I would have different things that I would feel AI is more and less acceptable for, and I would be bothered more and less. And I think everyone's going to be that way. And maybe there's an argument that eventually people will all just adjust to it. But I think the novelty is always going to win out. Authentic people will always have a value, knowing it was made by authentic people. Well,
there's been a movement in the film industry, or the film industry, the film fan industry, where, because for a long time, CG, right? Jurassic Park came out and everyone's like, oh my God, CG is amazing. It's the most amazing thing ever. And then most movies over the last 10 years don't look as good as Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And it's like, a lot of people have been really leaning back toward, hey, can we just have some practical effects? I just
Yeah.
want to know that
Oh yeah.
somebody built something. You know, I want to know
Yep.
something was there.
I want to
And it
feel like
was a
something was tangible. Yeah.
well, there's a certain thing in again in movies that people really enjoyed, which was spectacle.
Mhm.
It's, I mean, what was it? Ben-Hur. I'm trying to remember which one it was that just had like the most extras ever in a movie at that point.
Could have been
And
Ben-Hur.
and it was just this like amazing idea that you look at it and you're like, nah, that's just a lot of people just right there. And you almost watch it because you're like, wow, that is insane. You would watch a lot of Jackie Chan movies just because you know this
Yeah,
guy
no.
is just doing this. This is
100%.
insane.
Yeah. No,
You
you
know?
watch Jackie Chan to be amazed by what Jackie Chan does. Yep.
And I think that that's going to be
Yeah.
true with a lot of art is you're like moving forward. I think a lot of people are going to be like, no, I want to see what somebody just did.
Yeah.
I want to see what somebody's hands did, you know,
Yeah.
like it's just more interesting in a way. And I think
Yeah.
that even the masses, right? Because you worry about, the masses will just take, but I think even a significant portion of the masses, I think are still charmed and amazed by spectacle.
No, I agree. I mean, I think the masses will all still want the spectacle. They'll also want the novelty. I just think that there's a percentage of people who will feel mostly fulfilled by just AI, but I don't think it's going to be the majority. But
No.
you kind of what you're saying, like I kind of compare it to, I don't care if I see a forklift deadlift 2,000 pounds, right?
Yeah, there you go.
I don't care. But if I see a strongman, not that any strongman has ever deadlifted 2,000 pounds, but if I see a strongman deadlift 2,000 pounds, it's very impressive, and I'm interested in the strongman. But if you do it with a forklift, I don't care. There's the kind of the same sort of thing and as there's too much media for the population to consume, I think the novelty of trust and creators is going to be the separating factor that's going to still make those rise to the top of the stuff. And again, it'll disrupt, and there'll be a lot of whatever. There'll be a lot of lost jobs, and there'll be a lot of whatever. But I don't think it's going to be the art apocalypse that
No.
some predict.
Well,
Yeah, in some ways I almost at this point hate using this term, but it almost democratizes the artwork more, where it's like in less gatekeeping in terms of, well, what gets greenlit. It kind of puts capability in the hands of a lot more people to be just like, I mean, you've seen it in the Cults 3D space, right? Instead of like, oh yeah, I mean, just you have to just enjoy what Games Workshop does or Privateer Press did or whatever, you know, these companies that can manufacture. Now you're seeing a lot of individual sculptors and modelers. They're like, no, I just put out a page out on Cults 3D, or you can just follow me for a monthly subscription or whatever. And I just make these amazing models that, you know, would not have existed had I had to be, I mean, even just, you know, even Games Workshop, even if let's say they're a bunch of nice guys that are real friendly and help the common man. But it's like, there's only so many models they can afford to produce. Whereas these guys that are like, no, I just have the tools to create 3D models, and, you know, the end user at home, there's enough people. Like you're hard pressed to go to a gaming store and not find at least one person that's like, oh, I'll print that for you. You know, like it's so accessible now that it's like, oh my God, any amazing sculpture that a 3D modeler can model, you can have on the table. And that you don't need big companies to do that now. And that's actually an interesting thing. And it's like, well, that, you know, I mean, you see a lot of gaming companies that are fighting against it real hard, but I mean, they're losing that battle as well. Like, go show up at a game store on a Saturday and tell me none of those models are just 3D printed. You know what I mean? Of course, plenty of them are.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. You know, it's funny. I find myself, I like to just use official models myself. I don't do any. I don't really like using proxies. I don't like whatever. I'm kind of a personal purist that way in what I do.
Well, the question is, would you use your own model that you modeled?
See, that's the interesting thing is I don't have much motivation to model an alternative version of things. Now I do model things for modeling projects on like Warhammer models. I have like a I'll model print out parts for things.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But I have this this connection where I want to use the official piece. I haven't completely identified why I'm that way.
I lean toward that myself. Actually, I kind of know what you mean. Like it's like, yeah, I would want custom shoulder pads or custom armaments for a vehicle, but yeah, like
but you want to put it on a
redoing
Games Workshop vehicle.
Yeah, I want it to be on a Rhino, or I want it to be on something like that.
I mean, part of it is having a cohesive aesthetic among that whole type of grim, dark architecture.
I was just going to say that. I actually think that people who are, and I have nothing against people playing with proxies and all that. It's totally fine.
Yeah, no, not at all.
But I think people that lean into it and bring that in actually, again, this is going to sound more harsh than I mean it to be, but there's a little bit of a diminishment for people who are wanting to live in that world and be a part of that and work within that IP, that they like, for a casual fun thing, it's fine, and I don't really care. But in a way, it's like, well, I brought my guys who are part of this universe and part of this world, and now you have these wonky things that aren't really. And I know you have your own story, but I'm in the story that Games Workshop did, and that's
it's you like the intellectual property of it.
Yeah, so I don't think, and I think
you want to play against Batman, not Craigslist Batman.
Yes. And even though I think and it's funny you bring up Batman, I think the Orc Batman figure in his Batmobile is completely awesome. I don't know if you've seen those.
No.
Super cool, super fun, cool models that somebody modeled up. But at the same time, if I'm playing 40K, I don't really want Orc Batman in his Batmobile in my 40K game. I don't want
Although maybe
Warhammer
that's
to be
another
Fortnite, right? Is basically
there you go.
So, and again, like I said, this sounds more harsh than I mean it to be. Anyone has a proxy army I'm going to play, I'm totally fine with.
Go live your life. Yeah.
I'm just talking about the overall, the way the world works, interacts, and what I like to play purely in the IP.
Well, there's an interesting direction that I see that in too, though, that kind of goes to what we're talking about, I think, which is if somebody 3D printed a cool looking model that they're putting down with their Space Marine army or something, then you're like, oh yeah, that is cool or whatever. But then when you learn somebody scratch built it, you're like, oh, that's real cool. Whenever you see that, it's like, oh, is it 3D printed or did you do it? And I think that goes to some of that spectacle again.
Yeah, the scratch building makes a difference. And yeah, Andrew, Spider-Man and SpongeBob in Magic the Gathering. It's like, I don't want that.
It gets a little too sardonic at some point.
I remember playing, we were at Adepticon and we were walking by a table of War Machine, and the why am I blanking on their name? The High Elves,
not Convergence. Retribution.
Retribution of Cirrus. The cavalry they had.
Angry.
They had actually mounted them all on My Little Pony toys that just happened to be exactly the right size. And that was literally it. The rest of the army looked normal. And in fact, even the guys on it were painted exactly the way to the box art.
Oh, that's funny.
And they were just sitting on those. And I thought, this is acceptable. I kind of love this. I know what you mean otherwise. It's different.
It's a joke.
I don't begrudge anyone. Again, and it'd be fun to even play. Like there was a lock and load many years ago.
Why are you so hateful, Dana? Why do you hate everything?
There's a lock and load I went to, and somebody had done a Minions pig army. I think it was a pig army, all done as Muppets, and all of them were. They just, I think, hand sculpted like all the Muppets. Everything was Muppets. I think it was like Animal driving the big, what's the thing called? The big battle engine steamroller spiky thing. It was just a super awesome. Did a great job of it. And that was a fantastic army. So
there's a very strong theme, right, going on, and it's also cohesive, even if it's silly.
I mean, obviously, like if I'm playing with it, it does not look at all like it belongs in War Machine, and that's fine. It's cool for people to do other projects, but
it's fine every now and again.
Yeah, I don't want to see the hobby taken over by people's own lore You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
No, I
In
agree.
the IP
100%,
I'm playing
actually.
in, that's not my preference.
No, it's the thing, and again, it comes down just to a lot of my my own perspective on these games, where it's like, if you're not playing them to enjoy the aesthetic, like, why aren't you just going and playing the stock market, or playing, just doing something else with numbers? If all you
Yeah.
care about is numbers and rules interaction, why not go do something more productive with it? Is my own personal view of, like, yeah, the only reason I spend my time doing this stuff is because I kind of love it.
Yeah.
Like, I
You
kind
love
of
the
love seeing those
immersion.
little dudes, and
Yep.
the knowing the Imperium is there and that the Emperor protects and that the orcs are crazy, and like, that's what I like, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
well, if I mean, and it's why it always bothered me in War Machine, where they're just like, I don't even paint my models, I don't care about the lore, and it's like, well, then go do something productive. I don't know. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it was a good
I don't know.
game. I'll say that.
I know,
Yeah.
I love the like, the rule set's probably one of the best,
Yeah.
but it's
Much
like,
better than anything
but
else
it's
I've
got to be
played.
in service of something narrative, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
No, the theme and narrative is super important. It's actually why I have a hard time playing other miniatures games. Besides, I think War Machine really landed really well. They're getting
I
they,
thought so too.
their early Mark IV stuff and their late Mark III stuff I really wasn't a fan of, but the newer stuff is looking better. But
They're
Warhammer,
finding their stride. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
they're getting there. Warhammer, um, I just don't see other companies put out miniatures that I'm as excited about as Warhammer miniatures. I just don't think aesthetically any of them appeal to me nearly as much. And the games might be better, but the aesthetics of the game are so important to me that I have a hard time picking up most other things. War Machine got me, had the best rule set and fantastic miniatures.
Yeah.
And
But
now
also
Warhammer
fantastic
since I was
lore.
like 14. And yeah, I never
I
got into
loved
the
the
lore
lore.
much, but I understand that it's great lore.
Yeah, no, it was. Oh,
He's talking
man.
about the early stuff. Don't ask him about the new stuff.
Yeah, well, the Hingehold scrolls, I think, kind
Angel
of
Scrolls were a
destroyed it.
disaster.
Do you
I'm
remember
sorry.
in when Warhammer Fantasy Battle died and it became Age of Sigmar?
Yeah.
And they just had that sort of big old middle finger of, like, nope, we're just going to kill the world
Yeah.
because we want
End
this
times.
new game.
Yeah.
And it's like, Hingehold Scrolls kind of did that.
Yeah,
for
they
War
100%
Machine, and
did
it's
that.
like, I bless their hearts. I love that Steamforge is trying to pick up those
Picking it up.
pieces, and I think they're doing a great job at trying to, but it's a hard job to do at this point.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, and I'll probably divide some of the audience out there, but it's like, once the whatever the middle Star Wars episode was. What the heck is that one called? I forget. The Force Awakens is the first sequel, and then there's the other two.
Last Jedi.
Jedi.
And I forgot the last one.
Yeah, but once the middle one happened and they just kind of destroyed the universe,
Yeah.
then it's like the third sequel came out, and it's like, hey, look, guys, I kind of made it work, and everyone's like, this is terrible. And it's funny because I see it and I go, it's not. Man, you worked really hard to try to fix that. It was broken, but it's like, you see somebody who's like dropped a vase on the ground and someone else is like, hey, I kind of glued it back together. And you're like, that looks like
Still
it was
doesn't hold
dropped
water.
on the ground, and it still doesn't hold water, but
Yep.
A for effort,
Yeah.
It's the way I feel. And it's in Steamforge games. It's like, I really am trying to give them like a lot of credit for it.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting. I remember that before they had picked it up, I remember you and I hanging out in the game room at Valhalla talking about, well, what would we do if we had gotten a hold of it?
If we had the IP.
Right. And it's interesting because they've done quite a few of those things.
Yeah.
And it's like,
they're bringing back press gangers someday.
Well, I remember when they did the what the heck was it? It's just sort of, they did a whole video, like a whole presentation of, hey, this is what we're doing, guys. And I remember just watching it going, hey, this all sounds really smart. Like,
that's when
from Decepticon.
Yeah, they did a keynote. That's where I feel like I saw that it was probably had been turned around and they were going to make his keynote.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, this is real. They're going to do it.
I see a glimmer of hope in the future.
It was a glimmer of hope for sure.
They knocked it out of the park with that. I was really impressed. So I mean, I still just want to play Mark III forever, but you know.
Fair enough. Since Dana won't do chaos train, maybe we can get him to do some scoring stuff.
He won't do. He refuses.
That's
stubbornly.
so niche. I don't think anyone but you would be a customer on that one, right?
Dana's very practical, Jeremy, unlike some of us. Speaking of, I noticed that you have a printed table option.
Yeah. I decided to do printing if people want to get those
Just receive them in the mail.
Yeah, but interestingly, nobody's bought, so we'll have to see. I don't know if anyone's going to pick them up.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that. I mean, I think for the most part,
it's interesting, right? You were to what you were talking about before, where it's like that market seems to have changed. It seems like everybody would rather just print it themselves now.
You know, I've seen a number of other Kickstarters that had people buy the printed versions.
Was it a significant amount at all?
A decent amount. It's usually not the majority, but it's not like one or two. So I'm not sure what. I'm not sure why. I mean,
part of it's just going through do you want to deal with the trouble of it, or do you like your printer enough? Because, I mean, how many people have this, like, I don't know, hard drive of shame, I guess, now of like completely unprinted STLs?
Something I'm running into a lot is that people will have the STLs and they'll give them to people to print, and they're just like, print them as cheaply as possible so I don't have to pay you much. And I am seeing it personally, because then I end up having to paint these awful prints, and I will not photograph them because I'm sorry, that's not going to be in my repertoire. Don't put that on me. I have printers, I can print, but
I've
not
seen
like that.
I've seen a lot. Yeah, I've seen a lot of printing services. When I look at models from them, they printed really large layer lines and printers that it's funny, I don't even understand how they print them so bad, but I've seen some pretty bad looking prints.
I've been through some pretty bad ones.
Yeah, so I don't know. Again, I've seen other Kickstarters where people do it, so I'm not sure why no one's picked it up. Maybe it's possible I decide that the best way to do it would be basically like a table of it instead of individual pieces. And maybe some people would have got individual pieces, but not go for the full table. I'm not sure.
I could see that.
I'll probably,
my
plan is I'll probably have all of it up for printing individual pieces on my mini factory, because I believe my mini factory
is integrated. Because your Stone Tribe's available through there too, right? So, although it is also available through the Kickstarter.
Yes,
if you want to get everything.
Yep. So I'm probably going to be, I bought some extra printers, and I'm going to be probably doing printing service for my stuff, as well as selling the STL files on my mini factory. So at that point, then someone could order an individual piece.
That's at my mini factory.
Full table.
I think I was calling it Colts 3D earlier.
Colts 3D is the second biggest miniature.
Is it? Okay.
thing.
Yeah. My mini factory, I believe, is the biggest, and Colts is next in line.
Okay.
My mini factory is that. I think that's who Steamforge also goes through for, because they jumped on.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Smart. Well, we've hit that time of the night where we get to share the minis that people have shared on my Facebook. So
Tell you what. Yes. Before we do that, there's a couple of things. One thing in particular, we should probably mention that.
Oh yeah, the dates for Valhalla have been announced finally. This is the first announcement of it. So officially, Valhalla is happening April 26th until May 1st, 2026. Obviously. Hopefully.
So for any of you who are interested in going, start looking ahead for that. The Kickstarter is not out yet, but just so you guys can start. Yeah, it's coming soon, and so you can start just trying to even see if it's something you can plan for or whatever. We have the dates officially set in stone now.
Yay. All of the yep, I get to be stressed out of my mind for the next 6 months.
And for one more thing, would you mind playing the Kickstarter video for Dana's Kickstarter, just so everybody can see and get a sense of what it is they're looking at?
Yes, I might have first video. Hold on. Hold please.
So while you find that, while you find that, we can let Flo talk about what she is painting. It's the same thing, but you've been edging, it looks like.
Well, yeah, because I was asked to match the color schemes that they have on, well, the official box art. So the official
okay.
box art is this here. And if you notice it's all a black carapace, but then it just has the green edge highlights on it instead of
Okay.
full paint jobs. That's just what I'm working on right now.
All right.
Specifically the two bottom guys.
And it looks like are you freehanding the bases?
Yes, I did
Oh,
freehand
nice.
the bases. I guess it could have been done with decals or whatever. I think that would have been way harder, especially since I had done a rookie move and I'd glued them down before I realized that they had those on them. And I was like, I'm not pulling these off. We're not doing that. So yeah, I just freehanded the symbols on the bases, and then the way these guys are set up, they just have a little bit of like rocks and dirt that kind of spread off on top of those symbols. So I have some paste that I can add to that and get it to blend together.
Okay.
Nice.
I don't know if you guys ended up seeing, I finished off some of the terrain part for it, so I can grab one of those if you guys want to see what it ends up looking like.
All right. Well, tell you what, I'll let you grab that. We'll have you
The
show
video.
it while we're showing the painted gallery.
Yes.
So yes, let's full screen that. Or yeah, there you go. God, the stonework just looks super cool in that.
So good.
Thank you. The smoke machines are hard to get to do what you want to do. I'll say that. To get all the smokes.
So there you go. So there's sort of the modular stuff you were showing before.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what I like is you could kind of print multiple bridge sections, and you could even just have like a little campaign across a bridge.
Yep.
Like.
Yep. Yeah, and you can make that bridge as wide as you want. You can do like a triple wide thing and march a whole army across it.
Oh yeah, like actually have like land raiders driving over that thing.
Yeah, easily. Yep. See that part that keeps falling over? That was really annoying. Didn't want to refilm it. Every time I do that, it like falls over. Maybe I cut that out. Oh, maybe I cut one of them out.
Forsaken Sentinels. So yes, I would encourage anyone watching to definitely go look at it and buy at least some of it if you have any access to 3D printing. It's such cool terrain.
Agreed. Very, very beautiful. All right.
What kind of images do we have?
Let's get that pulled up here. Share a different screen. This one. So Dexter, 100 posting amazing,
nice.
beautiful stuff. He's always got his pirate and nautical themed stuff going on.
Well, that's for Blood and Plunder, right? Like that's mostly what this is for.
One of these days, I will
felt
play
like
that
it. It really went hand in hand with War Machine. I always liked the idea of even using some of the Blood and Plunder ships to figure out a way to do it like a naval War Machine thing. Just do a little bit of kit bashing to make it a little more steampunk, but other than that, is really cool.
Dana Andrews asking about using magnets on the terrain.
You'd have to drill to put magnets in it, but it's the way it sits together. Magnets would be useful if you wanted to do more whatever, but it doesn't need magnets to go together how it does. But yeah, if you did want to magnetize it, you'd have to drill and do it the hard way.
Or just pull it into some software and do a Boolean operation and make little magnet holes.
Or you could do that, yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's that. I mean, the 3D software, Paul was saying earlier that there's ones that'll find errors in the print and fix them automatically. Yeah, there you go. So
there?
this kind of
Oh, okay.
overlooking like the sea or whatever ahead of us.
That's cool. That's a cool
Yeah.
setup.
Oh no! Look at the depth of
Yep.
the depth of that battlefield. How neat!
That is really cool. Look at all those
I love
extras.
Like that they're extras. Only the guys in the foreground are important. The rest are just extras.
Yeah, clearly that's how it works. Dexter number 3. So yeah, he has I think built all of this stuff.
I think that's
Yeah,
all hand built. Yeah.
That's an awesome
Yeah.
table.
No, it's really cool. He had this really awesome lighthouse a while back. Oh my gosh. Like I
Is
can
that
only
in the
imagine
top
how
right
full his
there?
house is.
Here, go back.
Here. Oh.
Is that in the top right? Is that his lighthouse? Right
It
there.
might be. Might
A
be.
piece of it.
I cannot tell. Jeremy's Conan models. So for like just feels like very much in that sword and sandals world. Is that
I
right?
kind of love the guy in front. Looks like the guy from the box art of Advanced Hero Quest.
He does.
Yeah.
I think that's what Jeremy put it
And then the
up.
guy on the right looks like Dalsum to me.
Oh, there's a guy. Yep. Matthew showing a this guy. He told me what it was, and I've
I'm blanking on his name. His War Machine model. He is.
Cephalix?
I keep wanting to say Exelon Thexus, but
Yeah,
I
positive
don't
sounds
remember his
right.
name.
I'm positive I'm wrong about this.
I don't know. What did he say about it?
Oh, Cephalix.
Cognifex cephalon. Cognifex
there you
siphon.
Okay.
Obviously.
Close enough.
Like the name was similar in my head, but I was like, I'm positive I'm saying it wrong. But it's,
Cogitate or something. Cognifex. I never got so into the Cephalix, to be honest, although they are fully 3D printable army. That's me. So, and that's Paul's miniature Saturina guy.
I
Look
can
at
tell
those
what
shoulders.
folder you put that in. You put all these in.
I know. Shame on me. I'm normally better organized than that. I've been a mess for the last 2 weeks, though, so it's fine.
I love those Saturnine models. I don't
Yeah.
play whatever, but I kind of want to get that box so I can have those Saturnine models.
Right? Seem pretty cool. And then I think we end on Thomas. Yeah, Thomas, award-winning painter. Thomas,
Yeah.
Great.
painting his Brian Bloods. Beautiful work.
That's fit. I
Little
love the
pigs.
little pig sitting on his swordfish.
Yeah. Good Lord. Thomas is so talented. So great job. That's all of them today.
Okay.
Thank
I
you
have
all for that.
I have a thing I wasn't painting it during the thing, but this is when I was talking about making custom pieces for. This is a the camera will cut it in. This is a mortise engine that I made like a blood fountain thing that
Ah.
I've had this
Okay.
magnetized on there, and then a vampire I added to it that's like summoning the blood.
Oh, he's
for a
summoning
spell
the
or something
skull
like
out
that.
of the cauldron.
Yeah.
Ah.
Camera
I
cutting
love
it
some
out.
good
As long as
blood
you keep it-
fountains.
As long as you put it in front of you or your body, it won't
Oh
cut it
yeah.
out.
Oh, okay. So then I get closer that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
There
There
you
we go. I don't know the magic of using.
Yeah, it's
cameras.
just trying to mat.
Yeah.
And so it's matting based on what it thinks your body is. It is actually using a little bit of AI to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my my blur is screwing up. But yeah, that's my current paint project.
That's
That's
cool.
Nice.
And then Flo was showing us the terrain pieces she was painting. Now, which it's from a box set. What box set is
It's
this
the
from again?
Tomb World box set. It's the same one I'm
Tomb World,
painting the
that's right.
Necrons for. So those are all bits of it. And that's,
Okay.
I mean, nowhere near all that I've got done or that I'm working on. So that's just
Love all
some
the
of
little
it.
Necrons in hibernation on the wall there.
Yeah, that they're all being worked on. There's actually scarabs on top of them, fixing them, and the little green thing
Oh,
is
That's a
actually
cool set.
saying how close they are to being done.
Huh.
well, that's cool. Oh, I see. It's the new Kill Team box. Okay,
Yeah.
I actually hadn't seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is the one that that I've been given to work on, but we technically have our own copy also.
Nice.
Nice. I love
Yeah,
it.
it's really cool.
Yeah,
Looks like
All
something
right.
what I've been working on.
Yes, Flo's
Oh,
just
yes.
non-stop painting. But anyway,
So definitely go check out the Kickstarter.
I have it linked in the video. So
Thank you.
check it out. When does it end? Actually, there wasn't much longer left on it, I think.
23rd, I believe. So it's about a week.
7 days to go. That's what it says. So there you go. Hopefully, yeah, I hope more people buy in on that because it's such a cool looking piece. So
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. That was fun. This is fun. Thank you so much.
I'm glad we got to hang out again a little bit.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we'll
Yes.
outro here and be back in 2 weeks, which will be
hopefully
right
we will
before
29th.
Halloween.
Oh, hopefully we will see you at Valhalla,
Yes.
which
hopefully.
is April 26th to May 1st.
Yep. 2026.
Yep.
Keep an eye out for that coming out.
Let's hope we'll see you there, because I actually really do. I love hanging out with you
Oh yeah. No.
in the game room there.
Good fun. I talk more than I play when I go to Valhalla. I don't know if that's good or bad.
You know what? You relax and you enjoy yourself.
I do.
That's
I do.
exactly
It's
So that's
fantastic.
definitely good.
Point is to vacation. So excellent. Well, we'll outro here. Thank you everybody for hanging out and joining us on the stream. Make sure to check out the Kickstarter, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Barry, cover me. All right, guys, this is it. Copy that. No more sandwiches, Barry.
What's wrong with this place? I'm in the west corridor. I'm right outside the generator room. I'm out of bullets.